you ever imagined what it feels like to watch an era end in a matter of seconds? A colossal ecosystem, painstakingly built and evolved over hundreds of millions of years, wiped clean without a trace by an anomaly the size of cosmic dust. Biological arrogance, totally annihilated in the blink of an eye. I am the writer. In this archive, we won't just discuss dusty bones in a museum. We are going to witness the apocalypse firsthand. We will rewind this planet's clock by 66 million years, stepping foot right at ground zero, the Yucatán Peninsula, and counting down the final day of the Earth's rulers, minute by minute.
T-minus 24 hours to ground zero. Welcome to the final day of the Mesozoic era. The Earth breathes in a majestic silence. The air feels warm, thick, and filled with the scent of newly blooming ancient flowers. Forensic discoveries at the Tektite site prove this is a spring day, the season of rebirth. The planet's ecosystem is at a point of absolute biological balance. In the shallow waters, the apex predator, the Tyrannosaurus rex, steps slowly. It lowers its head to drink the clear water, fully convinced that this green kingdom is its own forever. In the meadows, herds of triceratops graze peacefully beneath a canopy of white clouds. There is no fear of the sky. The Earth feels incredibly safe. Trillions of lives breathe, pulse, and multiply, completely unaware of one very dark cosmic reality. They're breathing their last air. Not a single one of these giant creatures has the brain capacity to look up and understand that the blue sky is about to collapse. Meanwhile, deep in the freezing, silent vacuum of space, the laws of physics are preparing an execution. A colossal, pitch-black rock, the width of Mount Everest, rockets straight through the darkness. It moves at a terrifying speed, 20 kilometers per second, far faster than any guided missile. No fiery friction, no roaring sound. This apocalypse arrives in the purest cosmic silence. The bringer of death approaches the planet without triggering a single natural alarm. Down below, life goes on. They bask in the warmth of their final sun, preparing for the night. Time ruthlessly counts down, 30 minutes to ground zero, and this illusion of peace will burn to ash. T-minus 60 seconds to ground zero. This is the moment where ruthless science shatters Hollywood fiction. You have always seen asteroids hit the Earth like a rock striking the dirt. In reality, absolute destruction begins long before the rock even touches the surface. Above the clouds, the bringer of death finally pierces the boundary of Earth's atmosphere at an illogical speed, 30 kilometers per second. At this hypersonic velocity, air molecules have no time to move out of the way. The atmosphere directly in front of the asteroid is brutally compressed, trapped, and crushed under extreme pressure. This air friction births an instant hell. The air itself explodes into a boiling ocean of white plasma, reaching temperatures of tens of thousands of degrees Celsius, far hotter than the surface of the sun. Down below, life in the green valley suddenly stops breathing. The sounds of birds and insects die instantly, replaced by a deafening hum of air pressure. The clear, bright blue daytime sky is instantly swallowed up by a blindingly harsh new light. A second sun is born. The photon radiation emitting from this giant plasma ball instantly blinds any biological eyes that dare to look directly at it. These ancient giants lose their sight in their final moments, but blindness is the mildest of their suffering. A thermal wave races ahead of the falling rock. The previously cool and damp air instantly turns into a giant oven. The smell of scorched ozone and burning feathers fills the Earth's lungs. The grass dries, withers, and spontaneously erupts into flames. Giant birds in the air burn alive, falling like a shower of bloody meteors. This ancient ecosystem is roasted to ash before the asteroid's shadow even touches the ground. Trillions of tons of this doomsday rock plummet downwards, bringing the burning sky with it, and the Earth holds its breath for the very last time.
Ground Zero, the execution begins. Right at the Yucatán Peninsula, this trillion-ton rock slams into the Earth's crust. On this green land, not a single living creature hears the explosion. Why? Because this cosmic shockwave travels far beyond the speed of sound. Death arrives before biological ears have a chance to hear it coming. The kinetic energy released in the first millisecond is equivalent to 10 billion Hiroshima atomic bombs detonating simultaneously at a single point. In the blink of an eye, the solid Earth crust, the cold, deep ocean, and the ancient rocks on the seabed do not shatter into rubble. They vaporize, a brutally violent phase transition from solid matter into an ocean of superheated plasma at tens of thousands of degrees. A hellish crater, 150 kilometers wide, is violently ripped into the face of the Earth in a fraction of a second. All life forms within 1,000 kilometers of ground zero experience absolute annihilation. They do not burn, they do not feel pain. Their nervous systems and cerebral cortexes do not have enough time to process the pain signals. Trillions of organic cells of these giants are literally peeled away at the subatomic level, broken back down into carbon dust and pure light in a fraction of a millisecond. The planet screams, but without a sound. This kinetic impact peels away the Earth's mantle down to its deepest layers, vomiting hundreds of billions of tons of glowing molten rock straight back into outer space. The collision instantly buckles the tectonic plates, sending an 11 Richter scale earthquake ripping across the entire globe. The first apocalypse is over in a single breath, but the true wave of death is only just beginning to spread.
Impact plus 15 minutes. The true apocalypse has only just begun. Earth's matter that was brutally vaporized into the vacuum of space is now being pulled back by unforgiving gravity. Billions of tons of this molten rock fall back through the atmosphere as liquid glass bullets known to you as tektites. Imagine a clear daytime sky instantly turning into a thick, pulsating blood red. The planet's atmosphere is no longer a shield. It has transformed into the heating element of a giant reactor. The friction of millions of these tektites raises the ground air temperature by hundreds of degrees in a matter of minutes. The planet is being roasted alive. From the Americas to Asia, dry, ancient vegetation spontaneously erupts into flames. Global forests burn simultaneously, creating a firestorm that sucks all the oxygen from the Earth's lungs. The choking stench of sulfur and scorched ozone fills every remaining breath. The giant creatures that survived the earthquake are now trapped in a continent-sized oven. There is nowhere to hide. Even in the shadows of the deepest caves, the thermal radiation hunts them down. The sky continues to drop its apocalypse, one incandescent glass bead at a time. This is the coldest justice of physics. The Earth is erasing its entire biological memory and turning its surface into a silent wasteland of charcoal and ash. In this burning world, I am the rider. I stand here so that no data is lost. Every grain of this ash holds the history of cosmic conquest. But make no mistake, the fire is only the beginning. A far greater storm is moving across the ocean.
Impact plus 2 hours. This apocalypse now ripples through the spine of the planet. The seismic shockwave triggered by the Yucatán impact has reached every tectonic plate in the world. This is no ordinary earthquake. This is a magnitude 11 tremor, a force so massive that your geological laws have no category to name it. Across the globe, solid land instantly behaves like a liquid. Majestic ancient mountains tremble, fracture, and crumble like mounds of sand. Forests that survived the fire are now swallowed by gaping chasms in the earth. However, the most terrifying terror is waking up in the oceans. The ocean water displaced by the explosion of billions of tons of mass is now rushing back. a black wall of water 1,000 meters high, moving at the speed of a fighter jet, a mega-tsunami. Imagine a mountain of water reaching above the clouds, devouring entire continental coastlines without a trace. In the place you will one day call North Dakota, a mass grave is being created in a matter of seconds. The Tanis site bears silent witness, where giant marine fish, terrestrial reptiles, and fallen tree trunks are rolled together in a deadly mud vortex and buried alive in the exact same layer. They had no time to escape. The water pressure is so immense, it physically crushes lungs and shatters ancient turtle shells in an instant. The Earth is executing a total mechanical cleanse. These currents of mud and water erase the remnants of the Cretaceous ecosystem, sealing them forever beneath a thick layer of sediment. And amidst this chaotic destruction, the sky begins to darken with something deadlier than water.
Ground Zero plus 1 month. For the giant creatures that managed to survive the fire and the water, the true suffering has just begun. The sky is no longer blue. It has vanished behind a blanket of sulfur and volcanic ash tens of kilometers thick. The sun is dead. The entire planet drowns in absolute darkness and a freezing nuclear winter. The air that was once warm now feels sharp and lethal. Without sunlight, the engine of life stops turning. Photosynthesis halts completely. The green plants that formed the foundation of the food chain crumble into gray dust. Starvation creeps in like an invisible ghost. The king, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, is no longer a mighty ruler. It crawls with an emaciated body through the piled bones of its subjects, searching for petrified scraps of meat beneath mounds of ash snow. The bone-chilling cold crushes the last remnants of their biological spirit. The Mesozoic ecosystem, built over hundreds of millions of years, collapses entirely in a matter of days. Death does not come with an explosion this time. It comes in a freezing silence. No birds chirping, no predators roaring, only the sound of the wind carrying the dust of death across an endless wasteland. The Earth has become a giant, dark, dusty tomb. This is the end of an era. The age of the giants is truly finished. I am the Rider. The Apocalypse Archive has nearly reached its limit. Every particle of this dust is a silent witness to the greatest extinction on this planet. But deep underground, something small is holding its breath.
The ash finally settles. The sky clears once more, but the kings of the earth have become fossils. However, never assume that this apocalypse was an ending. In the universe, every mass extinction is merely a reset button to start a new algorithm of life. While the T-Rex and Triceratops starved to death on the ash, a biological miracle was surviving deep underground. Tiny, furry creatures, ancient mammals. Their incredibly small body size meant they required very little food and oxygen to survive the nuclear winter. When the sun finally illuminated the empty earth once more, they crawled out of their burrows, gazing at a world that now belonged to them. Free from the shadows of giant predators, these mammals finally conquered the planet. They evolved into primates, into explorers, and finally into humans, into you. Consider this cosmic irony. Had that 10-kilometer asteroid been 30 minutes late or missed the Earth entirely, the dinosaurs would still rule and the human race would never have been born. That apocalypse 66 million years ago was literally the cosmic price that had to be paid so that your civilization could exist today. I am the Rider. The archive of the final day is closed. Remember, every step you take today rests upon a graveyard of giants. Be careful with your timeline.